Hi, you're on to Viva's Canadian Journey. Thank you so much for watching. If this is your first time, please don't forget to do so. It's very easy. Just hit the subscribe button and don't forget to press the bell icon. The truth is, we live in a world where assumptions based on ethnicity can hamper one's opportunity of getting a job. So nowadays, what a lot of people are doing is changing their names on their resumes. They do this so that they can get a level playing field. So let's discuss if when coming to Canada, you should change your name in order to get a good job. And is this the solution? Let's get started. Over a period of 2 years, Sonia Kang, an assistant professor at the University of Toronto, Mississauga, and her colleagues conducted a survey called resume whitening. Now, what they did was that they took 1,600 resumes, and they fabricated these resumes. They changed the names on the resumes. So some of these resumes had African American names. So initially you see or hear the names, you automatically assume this person has to be an African American. Some of the resumes had Asian names. So when you see or hear it, you automatically assume that this person has to be from the continent of Asia. And the rest of the resumes had very English names. So they had names like Jane Smith, John McDonald. So what they did with this 1,600 resumes was that they sent it off to real employers that had advertised that they had jobs in their companies. Now, the results of this survey, of this study, was astonishing. What they found out was that the names that had been whitened, so the names like Jane Smith, the resumes with those names, received more callbacks, received more responses like come for an interview, or you have moved from stage 1 to stage 2. So these resumes received more callbacks than the resumes that had the African American names and the resumes that had Asian names. Researchers at UCLA, the University of California in Los Angeles, also conducted their own research. And they analyzed the results and they found out that people are actually biased towards some certain names. In their research, they found out that people feared some African American names. So when people hear names like Deshaun or Jamal, they automatically assume that this Deshaun or Jamal, without seeing the person, has to be big and scary. Just assumptions they've made based on the name, compared to if you hear a name like Michael or O'Connor. Or even ask yourself, sometimes you see somebody. The other day, someone walked up to me and said, "Oh, your name is Habiba, you don't look like a Habiba." And I was like, "Oh, really? I didn't know that Habibas had a different look, had a certain look." They're like, "You look like something else." I was like, "Oh, okay." But the truth is, we're all human and we all have a form of bias. That is just the truth. It is in all of us. Now let's bring it closer to Canada. A subscriber turned friend of mine relocated to Alberta in 2021. And when she relocated, one of the first things she started doing was looking for jobs, like we all do. And she got a few job offers, but not, her dream job. And I kept encouraging her. I'm like, listen, just keep applying. It will come, it will come, it will come. And after several months, close to a year, she didn't get that dream job. She called me one day. She was really upset. She says, "Habiba, I'm going to edit my resume." And I'm like, "Please don't do that. So that is wrong." She said, no, she's just going to change the name on her resume. And this friend of mine has a very traditional name. In fact, if you hear her first and last name, the first thing that will come to your mind will be this person is from the continent of Africa, because she has a very, for lack of a better word, a very African name. So just imagine, let's say her name was Shokolokobango She Kunta Kinte. Okay, one of those kind of names. So she said, Habiba, I am just going to change my name on my resume. And she did, she changed it. And she put a very English name on the resume. Something as simple as Sarah Smith. She didn't change anything else. She didn't change her educational background. She didn't change her work. So if you go through that resume, you see Sarah Smith, education in her home country, work experience in her home country. So I said, you know what? Do what you gotta do and let me know the results. And so she did. In less than a week, she sent me a message. She said the job, the phone calls have started coming, interview offers have started coming. I was like, wow. And according to her, one of the jobs she applied for a week or two prior to changing her name that had rejected her, called her back for an interview. And I was shocked. Now, this process is called resume whitening. Yes, you heard me right. Resume whitening is a real thing. People have been doing it for ages. Now, resume whitening is the practice whereby a person downplays or removes some aspects of their resume that can reveal their identity, their gender, or their race. So what you do when you're resume whitening is that you downplay anything that can cause discrimination, such as your name. You change it or you downplay it. Okay, now someone might be thinking, wow, this is the way forward. Now, while resume whitening, a lot of people will argue that yes, it gives you a level playing field. Personally, I don't recommend it. I wouldn't do it. I don't recommend it because I don't think it's a lasting solution. Okay, it's not a lasting solution. And in my opinion, it is a form of systematic racism, because the onus is on you, the newcomer, the person looking for a job. The onus is on you to continue to hide your identity or hide certain aspects of your identity. Does resume whitening work? Yes, it does. But I'm not a fan. I don't recommend it. However, here are some solutions that I have found useful here in Canada. I have used a lot of them and they have really, really helped me. Okay, number one solution, network. Before coming to Canada, I did not like networking. I just wanted to sit down somewhere and mind my business. But it was when I got to Nova Scotia, I realized that networking is part of the culture here. There are loads of industry events that go on almost every weekend. Attend them, the virtual ones and the in-person ones if you can. What networking does is that it helps put a face to the name. And we all love pictures, so by the time you see somebody, the person can, sees your face and can relate. Number two solution, okay, is apply to jobs from employers that are all about diversity, equity, and inclusion. Since coming to Nova Scotia, I have realized that 1 in 3 jobs, okay, that are advertised, the employer actually states on the job description that we are an equity and diverse employer, we are open to all, etc. Those are the kind of jobs I look for. I see a lot of jobs where the employer actually states we're looking for ethnic minorities, we're looking for this. Those are the jobs I really, really focus on. Once I find out that I meet the job description, then I apply for those jobs. After I've done that, I go to before I even apply, I go to the websites of these companies and do my research. A lot of companies right now, they have their equity and diversity policies and statements on their website. I read it. If I don't see an equity diversity policy on an organization statement, or I read their mission statement and it's usually a red flag for me. Another thing you can do before you hit the apply button is Google this employer. Since coming here, I realized that employees, past and present, they give reviews. Google a company. Half the time you actually see reviews by employers. There was one time I was looking at a company, I Googled it. It had like 35 reviews, good reviews, almost 4-star reviews. And when I started reading it on Indeed, reading the reviews on Indeed, I saw good company, good pay, good compensation package. I was like, oh, okay. Then I saw 2 out of like 35 reviews, 2 random people actually stated that this company does not treat ethnic minorities well. That was a red flag for me. I didn't apply. I stopped my application there. I didn't need anything else, okay? Number 3 solution is highlight transferable skills on your resume. So skills, a lot of us are very good at just putting technical skills. I'm also guilty. But highlight transferable skills like leadership skills. I have met a lot of people that have just done random project management online courses. Put that on your resume so that when an HR person sees it, they have no choice but to pull out your resume and give you a phone call for an interview. And finally, a solution that I strongly encourage everybody is to learn about diversity, equity, and inclusion. If you're thinking of coming to Canada, if you're thinking of moving to North America, to the UK, to some countries in Europe, learning about DEI is key. It will help you survive, especially learning about unconscious bias, which is a big part of diversity, equity, and inclusion. Now, you may know Skillshare for classes in photography or for where you can learn French. I've talked about this a lot. But Skillshare is a learning platform where you can also learn about diversity, equity, and inclusion. If you want to put something great on your resume, or if you're en route to Canada, then I strongly encourage you to learn about DEI. I encourage you to take some DEI courses because this will help you. I took certain DEI courses, and one of my favorites that I recommend is by Lanre Sulola, and it's called Organizational Culture and DEI, How to Overcome Bias in the Work Environment. I like this class because Lanre provides students with the tools to understand where and how bias first occur. And very important, he provides the strategies and ways to overcome it. And right now, the first 1,000 people to use the link on the screen will get 1 month free trial of Skillshare. I strongly recommend this class. It's really, really going to help you in your daily life when you do get to Canada. Until next time, keep watching Viva's Canadian Journey. Bye. Hi, my name is Habiba.